Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a mother and her son, Kofi. Kofi had fallen into the trap of drug addiction, and his mother, Amma, had tried everything to help him overcome it. But Kofi's addiction only grew stronger, and he became desperate for his next fix. One day, a wealthy merchant named Kwame came to the village, seeking to buy goods. Kofi saw an opportunity and approached Kwame with a wicked plan. He told Kwame that his mother, Amma, was willing to sleep with him for a price. Kwame, tempted by Amma's beauty, agreed to meet with her. Amma, however, was horrified when Kofi told her of his plan. She refused, pleading with Kofi to find another way to get money for his drugs. But Kofi was relentless, threatening to harm himself if she didn't comply. With a heavy heart, Amma agreed to meet with Kwame, hoping to find a way to escape the situation. But when she met with Kwame, she was shocked to find that he was not the kind of man she had expected. He was cruel and ruthless, demanding that she do his bidding or face the consequences. Amma refused, even when Kwame offered her more money than she had ever seen in her life. Enraged, Kwame threatened to harm Kofi if she didn't comply. Amma, fearing for her son's safety, finally gave in. But as she lay with Kwame, she knew that she had made a terrible mistake. She felt a deep shame and guilt, and she knew that she'd betrayed her son's trust. When she returned home, Kofi was waiting for her, eager to collect the money from Kwame. But Amma refused to give it to him, knowing that she had sacrificed her own dignity for nothing. Kofi, enraged, attacked his mother, demanding that she hand over the money. Amma, in self-defense, fought back, and in the struggle, Kofi was fatally injured. As Amma held her dying son in her arms, she realized that she had made a grave mistake. She had allowed her love for her son to cloud her judgment, and now she had lost him forever. Amma mourned the loss of her son. She knew she had to make things right. She went to Kwame's house, determined to confront him about his role in Kofi's death. But when she arrived, she found that Kwame was not alone. He had a powerful juju man with him, who revealed that Kwame had made a pact with the spirits to gain wealth and power. The juju man told Amma that she was now bound to Kwame, and that she would have to serve him for the rest of her life. Amma refused, but the juju man warned her that if she didn't comply, she would suffer the consequences. Amma knew she had to escape, but she was trapped. She was forced to work for Kwame, doing his bidding and living in his household. But she never gave up hope, and she began to secretly plot her revenge. One day, Amma discovered a dark secret about Kwame's past, a secret that could destroy him forever. She knew this was her chance to strike back, but she needed help. She turned to a group of villagers who had also suffered at Kwame's hands, and together they hatched a plan to bring him down. As the day of reckoning approached, Amma's heart raced with anticipation. She knew that she would finally have justice for her son's death, and that Kwame would pay for his crimes. But just as they were about to put their plan into action, the juju man appeared, revealing a shocking twist. Amma was actually the one who had made the pact with the spirits, not Kwame. She had been seeking power and wealth, and had sacrificed her own son to get it. The juju man had been manipulating her all along, using her desire for revenge to further his own goals. Amma was horrified. She had been so blinded by her own ambition that she had forgotten the true cost of her actions. She realized that she had become just like Kwame, using others for her own gain. but it was too late. The villagers, who had been waiting for the signal to attack Kwame, saw Ama's revelation as a sign of her guilt. They turned on her, and she was forced to flee for her life. As she ran, Ama knew that she had lost everything. She had sacrificed her son, her dignity, and her soul. She was left with nothing but the bitter taste of regret. And so, Ama disappeared into the darkness, a cautionary tale of the dangers of ambition and greed. The villagers whispered of her fate, a reminder to always be mindful of the consequences of our actions. But the story doesn't end there. Years later, a young girl named Akua appeared in the village, claiming to be Ama's daughter. She had been born in secret, and Ama had given her up to protect her from the Juju man's wrath. Akua was determined to clear her mother's name and to bring justice to those who had wronged her. And so, the cycle of revenge and betrayal continued, a reminder that the past is never truly forgotten. Akua began her quest for justice by seeking out the Juju man who had destroyed her family. She travelled to the depths of the forest, braving treacherous terrain and fending off fierce beasts. Finally, she came face to face with the Juju man, his eyes gleaming with malevolent intent. "You are Ama's daughter," he sneered. "You have her spirit, but not her wisdom. You will never defeat me." Akua drew upon the wisdom of her ancestors, channeling their power and courage. She engaged the Juju man in a fierce battle, using all her wits and strength to overcome him. In the end, it was Akua who emerged victorious, the Juju man lying defeated at her feet. She had avenged her mother's wrongs and restored her family's honour. But as she stood there, basking in the glow of triumph, Akua realised that her journey was far from over. The Juju man had been merely a pawn in a larger game, a game of power and corruption that went all the way to the top. And so, Akua set her sights on the ultimate target, the corrupt chief who had sanctioned the Juju man's evil deeds. She knew it would be her most dangerous challenge yet, but she was ready. For Akua was not just a warrior, she was a symbol of hope for her people, and she would stop at nothing to bring justice and peace to the land. Akua's quest for justice took her to the chief's palace, a towering structure that loomed over the village like a monolith. She approached the entrance, her heart pounding in her chest, and demanded to see the chief. The guards, taken aback by her boldness, hesitated for a moment before nodding and leading her inside. Akua found herself in a grand throne room, the chief sitting on a golden throne, surrounded by his advisors and guards. "So, you are the one who has been causing all the trouble," the chief sneered, his eyes narrowing as he took in Akua's determined expression. "I must say, I'm impressed. You have more courage than your mother ever did." Akua's eyes flashed with anger, but she kept her cool. "My mother was a victim of your corruption and greed," she said, her voice steady. "And now you will face justice for your crimes." The chief laughed, a cold, mirthless sound. "You think you can take me down, little girl?" he sneered. "I have the power of the entire village at my fingertips. You are no match for me." Akua smiled, a fierce glint in her eye. "We'll see about that," she said, and with a swift motion, she drew a small pouch from her belt and flung its contents at the chief. A cloud of powder exploded in his face, and the chief let out a roar of rage and pain as his eyes began to burn. Akua took advantage of the distraction to slip past the guards and make a beeline for the throne, where she snatched the golden scepter from the chief's hand. The symbol of his power and authority, The scepter was said to hold the very essence of the village's prosperity, and with it, Akua knew she had the upper hand. The chief, still blinded by the powder, stumbled forward, his guards rushing to his aid. But Akua was not to be underestimated. With the scepter in hand, she summoned the ancient powers of the land, channeling them into a blast of energy that sent the guards flying. The chief, realizing his defeat, let out a deafening roar and lunged at Akua with his bare hands. But she was ready for him. With a swift swing of the scepter, she struck the chief down, ending his reign of terror once and for all. The villagers, who had been watching the scene unfold, erupted into cheers as Akua stood victorious over the chief's prone form. They hailed her as a hero, a champion of justice and freedom. And as Akua held the scepter aloft, its golden light shining brightly in the sun, she knew that a new era had begun. An era of peace, prosperity, and equality, where no one would ever again suffer under the yoke of corruption and greed. The story of Akua, the brave and fearless warrior, would be told and retold for generations to come, inspiring countless others to stand up for what is right and fight against injustice. And so, Akua's legend lived on, a beacon of hope in a world where courage and determination can overcome even the darkest of evils.